Welcome to Adult ypww Lesson 11. I do not own the rights to this music. Today's topic is Marketplace Ministry and Influence. The lesson text is coming out of Matthew chapter 5, verses 13 through 16, Daniel chapter 6, verse 3. The memory verse, I will read the King James Version first, and then the New International Version of Matthew chapter 5, verse 16. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. The New International Version. In the same way, let your light shine before others that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven. The introduction says, the marketplace is your ministry. Too often, we limit ministry to the four walls of the church, the pulpit, or a worship platform. But God's intention has always been for His people to carry the light of His kingdom into every area of society, including the marketplace. Whether you work in education, business, healthcare, government, or the arts, you are not just earning a paycheck, you are advancing God's influence in the earth. Kingdom authority does not stop at the sanctuary door. It is meant to govern how we lead, serve, and witness in the world. Matthew chapter 5, verses 13 to 16 remind us that we are the salt of the earth and the light of the world. That's not just poetic language, it's a divine assignment. Holiness is not just separation from sin, it's active demonstration of Christ's character in public spaces. Your career, your community, your conversations, they are all platforms for ministry. The discussion says, Daniel's example and Jesus' teaching. In Daniel chapter 6, verse 3, we find a striking example of what it means to carry kingdom authority into secular places. Daniel, though exiled in a pagan empire, was preferred above the presidents and princes because an excellent spirit was in him. This excellence was not just about competence in his job. It reflected his character, integrity, and unwavering devotion to God. Daniel's consistent prayer life, refusal to compromise his values, and ability to operate with wisdom and clarity made him stand out in a godless culture. Even under pressure, Daniel remained holy, and that holiness became the foundation of his influence. Daniel did not preach in the king's court, but his life spoke volumes. His faithfulness was his ministry. He was both spiritual and professional, devoted to God and excellent in his duties. This dual commitment made him trustworthy, not only before men, but before God. His promotion was not man-made. It was the result of kingdom authority, flowing through a consecrated life. Jesus echoed this kind of influence in Matthew 5, verses 13 through 16, where he described his followers as salt and light. Salt preserves and purifies. Light exposes and reveals. Both metaphors describe the believer's responsibility to engage the world without becoming like it. Salt is useless if it never touches anything, and light loses its impact if it's hidden. In the same way, believers must bring godly influence into their workplaces, communities, and systems through how they work, how they speak, how they treat people, and how they live when no one is watching. Marketplace ministry is not about standing on your desk with the Bible in hand. It's about living out the gospel through your attitude, work ethic, and integrity. It's about being the most dependable employee, the most respectful team member, the most peace-filled voice in a room of tension. When others see the fruit of the Spirit operating in you, joy, patience, kindness, self-control, they begin to taste the kingdom. Holiness is what keeps your influence pure. When others compromise, you stay committed. When others gossip, you speak life. When others cut corners, you stay honest. That's how spiritual authority shows up in the marketplace. It's not loud or boastful, but it's powerful. And it makes room for divine conversations, favor, and impact that extends far beyond the workplace. The application says, walking in influence without losing identity. To walk in kingdom influence outside the church, you must first be settled in your identity in Christ. Like Daniel, you must determine in your heart that you will not defile yourself with the values and practices of the world, no matter how high you rise. Promotion without purity is a trap. Influence without holiness is manipulation. When your heart is anchored in God, your authority in the marketplace becomes a tool for transformation. Start each day by dedicating your work to God. Ask for wisdom, grace, and opportunities to reflect His glory. Make your work excellent, not for man's approval, but for God's glory. And that's Colossians 3, verse 23. Speak life over your workplace. Ask God to give you divine strategies, prophetic insight, and favor. Be bold when the Spirit prompts you to pray for a coworker, encourage someone who is struggling, or speak truth in love when everyone else remains silent. Do not underestimate the power of presence just by being in the room. A spirit-filled believer can shift the atmosphere. Joy can replace tension. Wisdom can silence confusion. Order can replace chaos. That's the power of kingdom carriers. You're not just a worker, you're an ambassador. And that's 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 20. You're not just employed, you're deployed. The conclusion says, your platform is your pulpit. Marketplace ministry is not a lesser calling, it's frontline kingdom work. While some are called to preach to congregations, many are called to influence boardrooms, classrooms, and neighborhoods. The same spirit that empowers revival services empowers everyday believers to be thermostats, not thermometers, in their environments. You are not in your job by accident. You are not in your neighborhood by chance. You are planted there by God to be salt and light, to release the culture of heaven into the systems of this world. Holiness doesn't make you weird, it makes you effective. It makes you trustworthy, sharp, peaceful, and honorable. And when others notice the difference, they'll ask what it is. And that's when the door opens to share the hope within you. Let your life preach. Let your work honor God. Let your influence point people to the King. Because when kingdom people show up in dark places, the kingdom expands and Jesus is glorified. The questions for today's lesson. Number 1, why do you think many believers separate their spiritual life from their work life? And how can we break that mindset? Number 2, what does it mean to carry an excellent spirit like Daniel in today's workplace? Number 3, in what practical ways can you reflect kingdom authority and character on your job or in your community? Number 4, what are some challenges you face when trying to maintain holiness and influence in a secular environment? Number 5, how can you begin to pray for and minister to those in your sphere of influence without compromising professionalism or wisdom? The end. God bless you and thank you for joining me today.